the Russian server added missile tanks. This thing fires a missile. There really is nothing to compare it to other than the concept, the Eric concept, their version of it. Our version is a tier 9 premium pile of junk, nobody cares about it. This is the tier 10 on the Leicester server, and there really is no like North American tank to compare this to, medium that is. So I have made a video on this tank, you can watch it if you want to know what it's about, but it's a medium tank with high alpha. And you can see the DPMs are basically the same. The penetration is higher, however this penetration is not accurate. And the damage on the Eric concept is higher, but again the damage is not accurate. I'll explain more in a moment, but they're both 152 mils. The concept is just a regular tank gun, whereas the MT-58 is a missile launcher. And you can tell from the shell velocity 240 compared to 900. Again, this is 240. That's not actually accurate, okay? I'll explain that more in a moment as well, but oh my goodness, look at this. So the aim time is lightning quick, and the accuracy is perfect. I know it's not 0, it's 0.05. From experience, I can just say it's basically perfect. Even if you have a damaged gun, it's still perfect. There's actually like no reason to fix your gun. The dispersion factors are like kind of alright, but the aim time is so fast, it really just doesn't matter at all. And it gets 10 degrees of gun depression, which is worse than the concept, but that's kind of the concept's specialty. It's still very good gun depression. Now, where it does fall apart is that it only goes 56, not 70, and the power to weight is a lot less than the concept. But it's more than made up for if we go to here. The health is slightly higher, but the camo is much higher because it's a much smaller vehicle, same view range. And did you catch that? What the hell is this armor? Yes, this medium tank is actually pretty well armored. Remind you of something? So if we look at this armor model, the screens do actually count, and wow, okay. Against heat, this thing is pretty much impenetrable aside from the lower plate. And even then, the lower plate's kind of hard. Now, it says 270. Most tanks have a lot more than 270 heat, including this thing. It's not actually 270, but I'll explain that. So the lower plate is actually a weak spot, and it does have an enormous cupola here that, quite frankly, nobody really misses. Even when you use your gun depression, it's still there. So all in all, it's like very interesting. I kind of like the fact that the Leicester server, when they add a tank with a cool gimmick, they don't just gimp the stats everywhere else and make it just a one-trick pony. They actually did give this armor, and the armor makes this tank a lot nicer to play, a lot more competitive and enjoyable, but it's not overpowered because, look at this. Like, this is enormous, right? And even then, like, you could still pen the hull. So, now for equipment, what I would go with is, at first I used a rammer, but honestly, I went for the higher damage equipment because I want to hit for as hard as possible. And if, in case you don't know, it doesn't update it here, but this adds 6% to your vehicle gun damage. And it also acts like a little vent, plus 4% to crew efficiency. And of course, the next thing you would want is a turbo. And the last thing you would want is, you can go with hardening. I think for a lot of my clips, I actually went with vents solely to just get my intuition time down for farming clips, right? I see something that's very squishy, I want to switch to HE as fast as possible because the shell travel time is so slow. You have to hit them before their sixth sense goes off. So they get spotted, you have to instantly whip it to them, fire, and then the shell travels for like 2 or 3 seconds. You have to do it that quickly because if you don't, their sixth sense goes off, they move, and the shell misses. So yeah, that's basically what I'm trying to do here, trying to get the intuition time as low as possible. It's not terrible though, because with vents you do get some good view range, and that's kind of what this tank needs. It needs view range, it wants to fight things at long range. I know that might seem weird, Chems. With the shell velocity being so slow, why would you want to fight it at long range? Well, to explain why, I need to actually boot up the game. Here is the MT-58. You can see here my alpha damage is actually 799, or I guess 800, and the penetration is 310. So why does Tanks GG state it so differently? And why does it say minimum and maximum value? Well, check this out. The damage depends on the range. And actually, it's not just the damage, it's the penetration and even the flight speed, the shell velocity. Now, the reason for this is because this is not a heat round missile, even though it acts like heat in the game. but what it's based off of is a kinetic energy missile, coincidentally called CChem, Compact Kinetic Energy Missile. The missile comes out of the gun, and it has its own thrusters or propellant, and it shoots it forward, picking up speed, going faster and faster. And the faster it's traveling, the more damage it does and the more penetration it has. And if you look, it goes up to 1,000 damage and 364 millimeters of penetration. That's quite substantial. And that's why I use this bore chamber tier 3. I guess that's what it's called. But yeah, it adds more to the alpha damage. But it gets even better. This is the standard rounds. What if we load the, quote, high explosive rounds? Okay. It goes from 1,000 maximum to 1,300 maximum. And the penetration goes to 162, which is not too bad. You can actually pen a decent amount of mediums with that. And so this tank is quite powerful. And its DPM, as you can imagine, gets higher the further you are from people. Now, it does require some skill, of course. The further you are away, the better you have to lead your shell. And it's pretty hard to lead a shell that changes speed mid-flight. But if you can somehow master it, this thing is actually one of the funnest tanks in the game. This is, I think, one of my favorite tanks, or at least the most enjoyable. I find it really fun to play. This is their Christmas loot box tank. While we're stuck with the BZT-70 that does a whole 850 alpha, they get a missile medium tank that can do 1,000. And the thing is, it's not overpowered because to actually do that 1,000 is rather difficult, but bonus, do you notice this assembly shop? Check this out. They have another missile tank that I'm going to try and grind for. Can you tell what this is? This actually looks a lot similar to that one pancake tank, although they call it something else in this game. What is it? It's also a missile tank, but it's an autoloader. Actually, it's an auto reloader. It gets 2 shots, and it has armor, and actually, the main thing, it has insane camo. So, yeah, I'm going to be doing a video on this when I unlock it, but yeah, missile tanks, RU server, everything's just a lot nicer. And here's another reason why it's a lot nicer. This is the very first reward tank that has the choice of 2 guns. So check this out. Research. Look at that. It's a reward, but you can pick another gun. This is a 105 mil. It's just a traditional 105 mil for a medium tank, and I don't know why the hell you would pick this. Who gives a shit, dude? Guys, oh wow. A medium tank with a 105 mil. Oh. Yeah, forget it. Let's just stick to this missile launcher. And so, there's a skinned version of this called the Firebird, in case you were wondering. They will show up in the replays, but interestingly, Lesta has tiered loot boxes, but the highest tier is just a skinned version of a tank you could have gotten for cheaper. So I like that system. There isn't much else to say, other than, let's get on to the replays. Alright, MT-58 on Caucasus, or as you guys call it, Mountain Pass. So, we're gonna try to go to the middle and just fire a rocket off at something. Preferably it'd be something that's trying to snipe us back. I don't think this thing has enough shell travel speed to actually shoot someone who's crossing, not even a mouse. It does certainly require a lot of lead to make this tank work. However, oh, EBR. And, oh, I actually went for that guy because, to be honest, I assume the moment an EBR gets spotted, he'll just move back, right? Which he did. I wouldn't have hit him, but very, very nice. That's the thing. You cannot take chancy shots in this thing. People have to be stationary or very slow, or you just have amazing opportunity to lead your shot. And even then, it won't work, because if you lead your shot perfectly, people can literally just stop and avoid you, or avoid the shell. That's actually the biggest counter to this tank, is just be somewhat at decent range, and when it shoots, just like turn, and then misses. Or it gets buried into the tracks. Because although this is, in real life, a kinetic energy missile, in the game it is modeled after heat, in that it will get absorbed by space, armor, but it does penetrate high angles. And you can see on the little, like, the top left, let's see, is there, nope. Oh, is this guy gonna poke? And perfect. That little, like, scale is indicating how much damage I'm going to do, depending on the range. So the further they are, the more that thing ticks up. And they added a little hit marker for when you hit someone, which is just great. But yeah, as far as like heavy hitters go, this is certainly one of them, man. This is like the highest alpha of even heavy tanks at tier 10. Now, of course, there's a huge caveat in that it's extremely difficult to aim at things. But I load HE here because, would you look at that? Ah, shit barn. Boom, 1,000. And remember, if he was a bit further away, I could do 1,300. Now, I drive away in anticipation that that TVP is going to YOLO me, but he doesn't. And I won't be doing huge amounts of damage with the shots because I'm still using a rammer as opposed to the bore chamber. Honestly, if you're new to this tank, just take the rammer. You're going to be missing a lot of shots, and honestly, even just drop the optics. Drop the optics for vents even. Try to get the reload down as much as possible because, again, you will be missing a lot of shots. And so you definitely want to reload quickly and just try again. Now, I come back here kind of scared because I thought the TVP was going to YOLO me. And like, a TVP won't kill me, but if I get clipped off for 1,200, then I can't really poke the TDs anymore, can I? And those are some squishy TDs. However, it looks like he's not actually coming for me. I'm still thinking, is he? I mean, there's no rush right now. Those guys at the bridge aren't really going anywhere. And the TVP gets spotted, so I'm gonna switch to heat, or not heat, to HE to do more damage. And let's see, can I get a shot on something here? And oh, I actually missed the grill 15 and hit the FV. But like I said, people can dodge this pretty easily. Sorry, I just got a phone call there. The reason why this tank is not obnoxious to play is that you do have armor. So when you miss your shots, you don't just eat a bunch of shit in return. Anyway, I have HE loaded, and it's actually enough to go through his side. Perfect. And so he's dead. Now, I only have one HE left, but there is a grill 15 over there on full health. And now look, I make it look like I'm leaving. The reason is I don't want the grill 15 to perma-stare me. I want him to get a little comfortable and maybe zoom out, look behind him, look somewhere else, so that I can get the jump on him. So now, for all he knows, I'm not here. And, take that, 1,100 to the face. Now I'm out of HE, but he is still a one-shot for my heat rounds. And so I do the same thing, but then I realize, you know, he's probably not going to fall for it. I just need to get the jump on him. And although this thing's perfectly accurate, yeah, the shell does take a long time to travel. It's perfectly accurate and aims pretty quick. The dispersion factors are not the greatest, so you really just cannot fire on the move in this thing because you can see it just moving, the reticle blooms. So I just gotta like aim enough and perfect. This tank aims so quickly that you don't actually have to fully aim before you click your button because within that 180 milliseconds after the input of you clicking is actually sent to the server, you're more or less fully aimed. So anyway, there's a GPT-75 over there. He's got a decent amount of health, but he's also a GPT, so that's kind of scary. Although if he's firing HE, he can't pen me at all. Really, unless I give him like my flat side. If he's firing AP, he can't kill me, but I don't know. That thing can certainly set me on fire, crit me, because it's quite a big gun. Anyway, nice ass you got there, and yes. This happens a lot with this tank. People don't even realize it, but just because the shell travels so slowly, little micro adjustments is enough to throw off your aim. So that's fine. He already fired one shot at someone. So he's not going to kill me or anything, so let's just go in here. And up close and personal, you don't actually have the greatest amount of penetration. And even look, up close and personal is still 600. That's still pretty nasty, but yeah, if you're brawling someone, you only have 250 pen, which means you might think like, yes, an IS-7. You actually can't really pen an IS-7. You definitely can't pen a mouse or any of those things, so that's why this tank is definitely need to be played at mid-range. And if you're very good at aiming long-ranged. Anyway, that's a very tasty 6,000 damage. And you can see, like, these heat rounds, they get absorbed by the screen. It's pretty good. But yeah, let's move on to the next replay. Fisherman's Bay. Gross. It's okay though, because this tank actually does benefit from long-ranged engagements. So, as long as whatever I'm shooting at is far away, I'll be doing a lot of damage to them. So, there are some tier 11s, but should be fine. I'm not going into the city anyway. The best thing to do is actually just to come here, and this is where vents can actually be quite good. Optics even better, to be honest, because, well, in this map, really, it's pretty much just view range that dominates, and this tank's already pretty accurate. Now, how am I gonna hit these guys? They're pretty far away, right? And, oh, there's a spot there, and... Yep. So that tier 11 heavy is now starting his battle on 2k HP. That should be very good for our BZTs. They'll take them out pretty quickly. Yeah, that was a pretty good shot, I'm not gonna lie. And to be honest, there is no easy way of leading shots. It's not like, oh, if they're this far away, you need to aim this much. Because of course it changes. So like you literally have to do calculus to get the actual time. Or you can do what computers do, and to be honest, what humans do, and just build a lookup table in your brain. Literally. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so if someone is really far away, it's like, okay, I aim this much. If they're not so far away, okay, I aim that much. You don't really do any math in your head. It's just vibes. And, you know, to get vibes, you just have to play it a lot. Which is why I said if you are on the RU server and you get this tank, you should probably go for rammer. And even vents to get that reload down as much as you can. Because you need it. You need to be shooting a lot. Yeah, a lot of the replays in this tank, it's just straight 0 damage. You just miss, 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 miss. It does take quite a bit of time to get used to. You know what I love is when I'm streaming this tank in Discord, and then I get like 3 games in a row where I do 0 damage. It's like, as soon as someone's watching, you just fucking fumble. And I guess there is some, like, psychology to it. It's like, oh, well, you want to put on a more entertaining show, so you play a little more aggressively or whatever. And that guy stopped, but then he drove into it, and 870. Yeah, this thing, like, as far as alpha is king goes, this is it right here. And again, that's why I really like it. And yeah, that is what you can expect a lot of the time. People just don't even realize they're dodging your shot, but they are. But yeah, that's why I like this tank so much. It's like alpha is king, and you're perfectly accurate. So it really just comes down to skill. Can you aim and lead properly? And some RNG in that, whether the enemy stops or keeps going or whatever. But it's fine, he's almost dead, and... oh, so good. 977. Now this guy comes close. I don't want to get proxied by him. I actually like it that they don't know I'm here, because as soon as you get spotted and it says last known location is here, people are going to play around that. But if they think the middle is completely empty, they might poke or they might drive out in the open and not realize that you're actually there and you're going to put a big shot into them. Anyway, look at that damage counter. Isn't that just, it's just great to see that, eh? 840, 870, 977. However, this is actually kind of a close game, isn't it? We're down 1,000, even on tanks. We've won the city, but they've won the, I don't know, the other side, the whatever that ridge is there. And our tank destroyers, very, very interestingly, their tank destroyers are acting like mediums, and our mediums are acting like tank destroyers. And the enemy tank destroyer mediums actually won the flank. So what to do? Well, it's actually a very nice location where that artillery is for spotting and scouting. You have to be careful with shooting, though. You can do it, but you need to have some decent camo. And this thing does have decent camo, so it could do it, but... well, the BZT, given that it's a BZT on the RU server, smacked the shit out of that guy, and... oh! Yeah, it's a very good thing I held my shot there. If someone is moving, especially erratically like that, you just gotta wait, man. It's not worth taking the shot. Like right now. This guy's going all over the place. I can't possibly lead this shot because he could just turn or move. And to be honest, the BZT has it covered. So it actually looks like we're winning by quite a significant amount of HP. However, we just lost our light tank. And although we have more HP and we have tier 11s and we have the better comp, we're actually at kind of a huge disadvantage because we're all just slow heavies apart from me. And you can see right there, Artie on this server hits like a fucking truck. And so Artie on this server will take out our heavies no problemo. And look, this BZT is actually getting gamed on. Fortunately, I came here to help him because if you want more damage, the game needs to last longer. And if you want the game to last longer, you can't lose. And if you don't want to lose, you have to help your team. And so the BZT actually survives, which is good. However, he's very low health. And what's the other BZT's health? He's also kind of low. There's 2 Artie, man. So this is not as clear of a win as you might think. We're actually now even on HP. Just from that BZT, and I presume the other heavies, getting spotted by Artie and sniped, we've actually just lost our HP advantage. So it actually fully comes down to me. And the reason I like this tank is because, yeah, the missiles are very nice and all that. It's very versatile. It does have armor, kind of like a BZT and a Wheezy. Like, you know, it has armor, but it also has mobility and camo. So now that I don't need to use my armor, I didn't need to use it at all this match, but I can actually just come over here and try to scout. And, okay, eat that 755. And this is why I don't use rammer. I put a shot into this guy, and now I just hide and wait to reload. And I'll out-trade him every time. However, you see he's kind of in cover, and it looks like he's in a hull down. So my only option is to Cupola snipe. Now, a T-62A, first of all, actually has quite strong Cupolas. And at this range, 250 heat, it's not going to go through him. Assuming they hit. If that guy's hull down, wiggling and moving, I'm going to miss. And then I'm going to eat shit. And then I'm going to get hit by 2 Artie. So I actually just don't want to fight him. He's literally in the better position. He went to the hull down, heavy, or the hull down dead tank, positioned himself so he's only showing his turret. He's at the advantage. Now I come over here and I actually get spotted. Can you guys explain to me how I got spotted? And just like that, I took 900 from the enemy MT-58 and Artie was pre-aimed here, and because Artie on the RU server is fucking brutal. Look, he's blinding me now. He did 600 or 500. That's a 261. That's the smallest, well, second smallest caliber artillery. If that was a T-92 or Conch, I'd be dead. But yeah, I did eat a big round, and it, like, that was kind of a misplay. And he actually swapped it to HE. Now I gotta evade the fire, evade. He swapped to HE, hoping to splash me to death. But this thing is covered in spaced, so I don't know if that was the greatest move, right? It only did 89. But yeah, I took a lot of damage because I got spotted and I'm not really sure how. What do you guys think? Do you think the MT-58 was actually, like, here this whole time and he's the one that spotted me? Actually, it can't be. Actually, it can. Because, okay, if he was here, that's not very long range. He wouldn't do a huge amount of damage to me. However, it looks like he's firing HE. Now, my translation mod... no, it wasn't. Can you guys tell me what this means? NK and NF. So, the second round was... okay, first of all, just kill this guy. The second round was HE. Alright, he splashed me. We know that for a fact. That's NF. NF is HE. The first shot is NK. That must be the heat rounds. The only possible way he could do 900 heat damage is if he was all the way back here. So now I'm really confused. How did he see me? Who saw me, actually? Who spotted me? I don't even know. But, hey, I saved my HP for the late game carry, and holy shit did I need it. Yeah, almost 7,000 damage. Pretty nice. This tank is very fun. I wish Wargaming would add something similar like this to the NA server, but I don't think it'll happen. Anyway, let's move on to the next replay. MT-58 on cliff. If I can get to the top of the hill, that would be amazing. But yeah, like I was saying, I don't think they're gonna bring this to the NA server or EU server. I really wish they would, but I don't think so because one, it's not a tech tree on the Russian server, it's just one tank. But two, even if they were to do a tech tree, we're already getting American medium autocannons. Are they really gonna follow it up with American medium missile tanks? I don't think so. Maybe they'll do Russian missile tanks. Or some other nation. Anyway, yeah, get smacked there, but... yeah, quite nice. It's kind of like the inverse of Polish TDs. Honestly, this is what the Hirschkäfer should have. And you know what's funny is that the Hirschkäfer can have an even more accurate version of this. And, oh, you're gonna stop? Perfect. If he had just kept going and wiggled, I probably would have bounced or missed. And, again, nice armor. It's just good all-around armor. It's not like this tank is a gimmick tank. But yeah, the reason I say it would be more accurate if the Hirschkäfer had this kind of rocket is because CChem, or compact kinetic energy missiles, their shell velocities, let's see here, they're not 240 to 488. They're hypersonic, which means they're faster than Sabos, like more than 2,000 meters a second. Which means, like, that would make them quite excellent for sniping, and the damage increases depending on the range. Shouldn't that be the Hirschkäfer's ability? Like, right now they buffed the Hirschkäfer, and the buff is like, okay, whatever. It's a mild alpha increase. But yeah, I would just like to mention, by the way, it's very easy to get up the hill here. Same thing with Glacier, if you just don't do it right at the beginning. And, yeah, get smacked. If you do it right at the beginning, by the time you get to here, everybody is here. And a lot of them will be pre-aimed. So what you want to do is actually just let them get closer, let them go wherever, get unspotted, and then you just drive up. It's so easy. That one looked like it completely missed. I think this is like ping plus replay or whatever, but... nice. I now have the hill all to myself, which means everything will be at long range. And, oh, he smacked the shit out of that T-100, huh? And, oh, Grill 15 spotted. Let me just switch to HE. I'll be back for you later, Firebird, but... perfect. Now, he did get splashed by Artie a little bit. Kind of unfortunate, but that's fine. I'm not mad. One of their snipers is dead, which means this position is even better now. Although there's still one grill back there, and, you know, that K91, I could honestly have just fired HE at him. I think that would have penned as well, but, you know, 780 damage is fine by me. I'll take that. And this tank, it's really like a concept, an Eric concept, but better, because it's perfectly accurate, has very good dispersion factors and armor, but it's harder to play. You know, for starters, the gun depression is worse, but mainly the shell travel time, right? It requires very specific circumstances to actually hit something. Like, even if you aim or lead perfectly, someone can just alter their direction and you miss. So it's not enough to just lead. You have to shoot them when they're, like, not able to move quickly or something. So, like, that K91's moving. I'm not even going to bother aiming at him. This Firebird, however, he's stationary. And if I can shoot him without being spotted, that means he won't back up, if that makes sense. So you see, okay, he's actually poked out. There we go, bounce that. Now, do I have a shot on him? No. However, he doesn't have much room to move. So I actually just back up here, and I'm going to go into this bush here. The goal is that he won't see me. And perfect. Exactly. People can't dodge it if they don't see it coming. And oh my goodness gracious, he just got penned by Artie. God, I fucking hate Artie. Anyway, this Manticore's here. And this is close enough range to where my heat rounds might not one-shot him. So I switched to the HE rounds. Although with my equipment... oh, I don't have the equipment actually. So yeah. He dies though, but... this says it can go as low as 497. I don't think I've ever actually hit below like 600. Even like face hugging. So I don't know what that actually means, but... Let's see here. There's the Manticore. How much... He's gunning it for the ridge, so... Or the cliff, so it's kind of like a straight path, but... Yeah... What's the chance? I'd rather honestly just wait for the grill to be spotted. Can you imagine I took the shot and then the grill gets spotted and I'm reloading? That would suck. But because I held my shot, boom, 1100. And it looks like this T-54D is not gonna die. Will the grill take him out? I'm kind of slipping and sliding around over here. The grill takes him out. Okay, fine. Let's see, there's a 279 here. Now, this is not very good because he's hard to pen. And he puts a big old sabo into me, but... You know what? I see something easier to pen. And, okay, the grill takes him out. Go around the other way, and... Boom. So, there's the arty. Okay. You guys know what's coming. Amazing. And, oh, look, the grill came in for some fun. Yep. Doesn't matter. NA, EU, RU. Jumping is fun. But yeah, that's, you know, that's very nice damage. 6,500. This tank is very fun to play. It can also be very frustrating. Don't get me wrong, but... Yeah, let's move on to the next replay. Guys, we're on Stalingrad. Stalingrad, my beloved. However, it's not actually that great for this tank. As you know, this tank performs the best at long range. That's how you get the most damage and penetration. And you can see I'm looking at the heavy flank, but I'm like, there's no way I'm penning 279s from up close. And the 9 line honestly kind of seems perfect for this tank because it's long ranged. So that's where I'm going. So, this map is beautiful, by the way. Look at this. Just the vibe, the colors, the textures. Ah, of course. It's Lesta, so chems automatically glazes it. Yeah. I mean, I'm a pretty objective person. Like when they changed Arty, I said, this server is now unplayable because of Arty, and I don't recommend you play on it. So it's not like I have an allegiance to this server. So if I say the server's great in other regards, you know it's serious. Anyway, that's the heat part of this ammo kicking in. It got absorbed by his tracks, and now he's gonna YOLO our Manticore, which, yeah, it'd be very nice if our Manticore could survive, because, you know, he's getting YOLO'd. Nobody likes getting YOLO'd by some idiot asshole. So, drive forward. Perfect. 700, okay. Hopefully that, well, it's not gonna do much, is it? T-62 is not stopping until he gets you. Yeah, sorry, Manticore. However, I can avenge you, and I'm gonna do that right now. So, TVP is coming. You can see that, well, the T-100 spotted me there, but for a second, I wasn't spotted. The TVP didn't even see me. And that's kind of the nice thing about this being a medium, is that you do have some camo. And like I said with the strits, having armor and camo is just so nice. You're just so flexible. Anyway, I want to shoot this guy, but this TVP is staring me down, and I'll go for this guy. So, I back up, because if I fire at the T-100, this TVP will get a free clip in, and he won't be easily killable. Now he's a one-shot. So, what I can do is I can take the shot from this guy, finish this guy off, and the Zobor actually gets his ass, and... Okay, Mr. T-100. Okay, you wanted to flank us? You got the side and rear shots? Yeah, what now, What now? You're backing up? You know you go faster in forward gear, right? Yeah. So, that guy's been taken out. Now, there's a concept, there's a Progetto, and there's actually an FV back there, so... I guess coming here was kind of the right play. It's a decently long range, so I can get some good damage. And there's the concept. Concept's very fast. Fortunately, close enough range. let it, did good amount of damage, and now he's dead. So, can we get our score higher? 3,400 damage? There's still some targets over here. Now, I could go after the 279 and the other MT-58, but quite frankly, I don't feel like it. MT-58s are kind of hard to pen because you have to hit the lower plate. And this, as you can see, this thing is very agile. So, however, I'd rather shoot this guy. Boom. This is what I mean. After you play this tank enough, you can start to know how much you need to lead. Even though the shell velocity changes, it speeds up. Just by getting used to it, you know how much you need to lead. And hopefully this guy misses. Okay, he didn't miss. I often miss a lot in this tank just by ping, honestly. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty of skill issue involved, and I don't know how that missed. But that's what I mean, like, I think I led that, but he just drove past it, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I can lead some of the time. Sometimes I don't lead so well, but a lot of times it's ping. Ping is very annoying. And, okay. Yeah. Yep, he shot my lower plate, and it penned. And then he set me on fire and killed me. But it's okay. I literally would not have reloaded to get any more damage this match, so it doesn't matter. Honestly, I should have just angled at like 45 and let my tracks, right? Tracks with space screen protection absorb the shot, because it would. But yeah, man, I would do anything to play this tank with like 20 ping. Anything, including moving to Poland, because that means I can hang around snow bunnies all day. But somehow I don't think Poland wants me. Oh well. But yeah, I was telling Kaizu, like, you should play on the RU server, and he was like, I don't know, I don't feel like it's the right move and all that. But then he got removed. He got removed from the CC program, so there's really no allegiances at this point. Guys, we need Kaizu to play on the RU server because he lives in Europe, so he'll get better ping than me, much better ping. And so he'll have even better games than I have. And imagine if he got the Mouse King. I want to see Kaizu play the Mouse King. You guys need to go in his comments and say play RU, okay? Don't annoy him too much, but just, yeah, you know, just slide it in there from time to time. Don't pester him. The best way to get someone to not do something is to annoy them, right? Speaking of which, you guys sure love to say 5090 in the fucking comments, dude. I don't know, man. It's funny, but like, I've gotten used to it now. It's like, I go into the comments of the videos, like this tank specifically. I'll go into the comments to be like, oh, I wonder what people think of this thing. Give their 2 cents. And it's just people saying, 5090, RAM. Yeah. Can you guys be more creative? Oh, especially my favorite black woman of 4, or black mother of 4. Okay, guys, we've made this joke a lot. Can you come up with something more creative? Literally, just be more creative. Anyway, that's my little rant is over. This tank is fun. I'm gonna keep playing it. Maybe one day I get 10k. I'll make a video on that, but don't get your hopes high, okay? High ping makes this kind of difficult. Anyway, I hope this video was entertaining for you, and thanks for watching.